Hello, welcome to the SportsRecap podcast, sports lovers, and we bring you a lot of exciting news and local content. And for this specific episode, we are bringing you major developments in the Uganda Premier League, some exciting transfer updates in the world of basketball. I think this is the first time I'm giving basketball a shot. And I will share my take on the topics in the world of football, including managerial changes, including what's happening at Arsenal, the future leadership, and let's jump it on and we get it started. When I start off, I will look at the local scene. Uganda Premier League, there is a drama about the controversial story in the Uganda Premier League. If you look at the incident that happened in 2022, where FOFA's disciplinary panel handed the 3 points and 3 goals to Vipers Sports Club after a petition against Toro United by then for fielding an eligible player. And we look at taking things fast forward. You look at how history is repeating itself in 2025, where Wanbara City has filed a petition against Kampala Capital City Authority Football Club, KCCA, for allegedly fielding an ineligible player, one Gavin Kizito Mugweri. During a recent match that happened in Kacheka, that is in Barra, the evidence is compelling from the match reports that were, I want to say, allegedly shared in different platforms until they reached on social media. The evidence is comparing that the match reports show Gavin had a third booking before the match, which Gavin accounted for. And if proven guilty, KCCA could be on the verge of losing valuable points. I don't know whether KCCA took an advantage of a loophole in the system where on the official website of this sometimes Uganda Premier League, they were showing 2 bookings, or they intentionally did it because it seems on the matchday report where Gavin Mugweri received the third booking against NEC FC and the police, the referees, they do not write down that booking. It is said that Gavin allegedly received bookings in a game against Mbare Heroes, NEC FC, and police. I think if you are on social media, you will stay locked in and wait for the details and updates as this story develops. I mean, when you're looking at issues to do with filing ineligible players in a league like Uganda, that is one of the most fast growing in Africa, and such things are happening, you will have to wait and see what the FIFA committee has to say on this same issue. And of course, there's been a couple of transfers happening in the Uganda Premier League, not coming from outside, but if you look at so far what is happening, one of the prolific strikers that has been really performing well on the national team and the Chitara, Wandenes Omedi, has been signed by APR FC, that is in Rwanda. He also is joined by AS Villa winger Hakim Kiwanuka, one of those that has been having selections from the national team in the qualifiers and the CHAN competitions. They have already been added to the already formidable squad of APR in Rwanda. They were actually announced and unveiled to fans in a game where they won 2-1 in the Rwanda League. And of course, I promised to give you transfer stories in the world of basketball, where Jetty Jaguars of Chira are making headlines with major signings, including, I do not want to call them legends, but prolific players for the last 5 or 6 years in the UCU Cannons team. We see Sifoma Peter on the men's side joining Jetty Jaguars, and for the Jetty Lady Jaguars, they signed a 3-year captain of UCU, that's Shakira Namvobia, and one Azida Nabayuga, who has been on the team for a couple of years. And the UCU Lady Cardinals would likely have to rebuild stronger because losing two star players who have been on the team, knowing it in and out for 6 years, it's a huge blow. These moves are for sure making they are shaking the National Basketball League ahead of restart or ahead of a new season of 2025. But also UCU are not really settled, especially when you look at their men's side of Philip Owiri, who was formerly at Jetty Jaguars, and Amara Ariho from Livingston Basketball. They would be joining UCU ahead of next season. I saw Amara Ariho featuring for Livingston Basketball last season, and he was part of this team that won the Division 1 2023 ahead of 2024 season, which he featured for Livingston. Aliho also featured for UCU in the East African University Games in Kenya, which UCU were crowned champions of men's and ladies basketball. Away from that, I will have my take on the football managerial choices and future stars, and my take on this conversation is going basically on football. First, Arsenal fans are busy criticizing their own Mikel Arteta, and there is a need for a reality check. He has managed against, I'm looking at comparison to Man United, he has managed against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralf Rangnick, Erik ten Hag, and now against Amorim. If you are not content with if you're an Arsenal fan, you're not contented, because if you look at the coaches that have been at United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lost in the Europa League against Villarreal. Erik ten Hag, who was a coach for 2 seasons, won the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. Look at Ralf Rangnick, who was an interim coach after the dismiss of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He did not win that match. Amorim is just weeks in at United. Would Arsenal be looking at options like Sir Gareth Southgate? I would talk about Graham Potter, but it looks like he's yet to sign for West Ham United, who relieved of Julian Lopetegui from his duties at the area. And would they be looking at David Moyes? I mean, he has a track record in the Premier League, but he has not won many accolades in the Premier League. Last I remember winning the UEFA Europa Conference League with West Ham. Will he be joining Arsenal? I'm just thinking out loud. I think Arsenal fans should settle for what they have. We have not had a lot of quality, especially when you look at coaches globally that can come and do whatever Mikel Arteta has done at Arsenal. Arteta is actually building something special at Arsenal, despite many saying £700 million in transfers and not winning something. I think patience right now is something. Over at United, there's potential departures of one Casemiro. There's a potential departures of one Casemiro and Christian Eriksen, which are sparking an interesting debate on who could be the possible replacements. But as a Man United fan, I would love to see Carlos Bareba, one at Brighton and Hove Albion. He just came in to replace one. He replaced the previous transfer of Chelsea's. Remind me of the name. Ecuador International. Yeah, he came in recently at Brighton Albion, and his impact can be seen. He has been doing great work. I mean, even on the national team at Cameroon, he's one of those that they're relying on to up their game. Toby Collier, academic graduate also from Brighton previously before he joined Man United. United midfield future could look bright, and even if managed well. I do not want to make big money moves for someone like Ederson from Atlanta without an experience in the Premier League. But I think in my own opinion, if Carlos Bareba and one Toby Collier is given an opportunity, they could bolster Man United's midfield options, and having players like versatile players like Zaxi. I'm not writing him off because he can give you an option of playing as a false 9 or as a number 10. Finally, there's speculation that Marcus Rashford could be on the verge of leaving Man United, and if you look at Rashford and Garnacho's benching under Robin Almiron, I think it is justified. Watching from an episode of Beckham's documentary, I think it is the last episode of Beckham's documentary, where how Sir Alex Ferguson sold him to Real Madrid from out of the blue, and the celebrity life that had developed around David Beckham, and the way Marcus Rashford is treating his life at United, trying to be, he's already an MBE, he's a doctor. I think he has failed to manage his life outside football and life on the pitch. And this is something I learned from that documentary, because Sir Alex Ferguson made from nowhere, he sold the guy. And when he reached at Real Madrid, because media was following him wherever he was, David Beckham, when Capello arrived at Real Madrid, he benched him instantly. Things didn't work out well, but after some time, Beckham realized there was need to change the environment, and that's how he ended up at Los Angeles Galaxy in the United States. Sometimes it's a tough call needed for such teams' integrity, but that's just my take on the SportsRecap podcast, and it's all for this week, folks. From the local football controversies to international transfer moves and my hot takes. It's been a packed episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the SportsRecap podcast, and I'll follow our content on social media. Catch you in the next episode and updates as they come in the world of sports. My name is Mike Hainomicha, yours truly for today's episode, and I love you all.